Billy is an incredibly famous boxing champion. He has held his championship belt for 3 consecutive seasons without a single defeat. Today is the day Billy defends his title for the 4th time. It's perhaps one of the most important fights in his life. However, this time, Billy's opponent is not an easy one. He's a formidable heavyweight champion from the underworld with incredibly powerful fists. Immediately, powerful punches land on Billy's forward line. The fight is intense, and the underworld fighter maintains the upper hand, causing Billy's wife, Moran, to worry immensely. At the end of the first round, Billy sustains a significant injury to his eye, but every time he sees his wife, it's like he gains an extra 500 units of strength. As long as there's breath, there's hope, and Billy consistently returns what his opponent has given him. In the end, he executes a spectacular comeback, turning the tables. And thus, Billy once again successfully defends his world championship title. His fame was already great, but now it shines even brighter. All eyes are on Billy, but at this moment, a young fighter named Maybell has issued a challenge. What's the use of being a champion? When you face my old man's fists, you'll only lose your teeth, and that's it, Maybell taunts, humiliating Billy in front of the crowd, provoking him to accept a fight. This infuriates Billy, a champion, and he wants to punch Maybell to shut him up for good. However, his manager advises against it, stating that Maybell is just an up-and-coming fighter. Whether he wins or loses, the financial damage would be too great, so it's not allowed. This leaves Billy frustrated and powerless, unable to do anything about the situation. Owning a luxurious mansion with expensive furnishings, Billy is incredibly happy in the spotlight of his success alongside his wife and a daughter. By day, he's a boxing champion in the ring, and by night, he's a husband in the bedroom. Sometimes, when Moran looks at her husband's battered face, she feels worried. She wants him to retire, but Billy doesn't think so. He believes that with his health, he can fight for another 10 years. Moran is immensely important to him. She has been there with Billy from the beginning when he was just a penniless nobody, and he deeply appreciates that. During his charity speech in front of the public, Billy wants to express his deepest gratitude, particularly to his wife. He believes that her love has helped him triumph over opponent after opponent. On the way back, the fighter Maybell issues another challenge. Initially, Billy pays no attention to him, but then a remark from Maybell crosses a line. Maybell threatens, "I'll butcher your wife and toss those championship belts into the pigsty. Messing with your old man's 45 kilograms dog? You better be ready." Immediately, a chaotic brawl ensues, with no one intervening until Billy gives Maybell a beating. In the midst of the turmoil, a gunshot rings out, and Billy's wife gets hit. Billy holds his wife in agony, but unfortunately, she doesn't make it. In the meantime, their daughter is still waiting for her mother to come home. Billy knows he must find a way to explain the situation to the little girl. And the following day, a lawsuit against the scoundrels who harmed his wife, but no one came forward to testify against the shooter. Billy was utterly devastated, and he only wished to eat a coin-shaped candy and meet the king of hell. But his daughter knew what to do. At that moment, his manager informed him that there wasn't enough money left in the account to cover the past few months. With no other option, Billy had to step into the ring to make money. However, after enduring so much pain and suffering, his performance was no longer as exceptional as before. It seemed he couldn't defend himself against the relentless strikes of the black belt fighter. The audience cheered and hoped for a comeback from Billy, just like in the past, but all they saw was bloodshed. Previously, when he couldn't defeat his opponents, just a glance from his wife would empower Billy with 200% more strength. But now, she was no longer in her familiar spot. Indeed, the once proud champion was now without spiritual support. For some reason, the opponent stopped hitting, and Billy broke the referee's nose instead. The match had ended, and Billy was now facing a 6-month suspension from the ring and a hefty fine for assaulting the referee. Completely broken and disheartened, he sank into alcohol, which led him to drive recklessly and cause an accident by crashing into a tree. Due to his highly dangerous behavior, Billy lost custody of his beloved little daughter. To have any chance of getting her back, he needed a stable job. With nowhere else to go after losing his home, he wandered aimlessly like a stray cat from one place to another, finding no place to call his own. Fortunately, a good friend recommended him for a job at a gym. The gym owner, Tick, recognized Billy immediately as the former champion. Billy expressed his interest in becoming a coach to make ends meet, but Tick informed him that the only job available was cleaning the toilets and scrubbing the toilets. Do it or leave. With his pride outweighing the value of rural land, Billy immediately left without saying a word. Having nowhere else to go, he temporarily rented a 5-star hotel to stay. The next day, he went to the custody center to see his daughter, but to his surprise, she scolded him severely and didn't want to see him again unless he changed. Crushed by his daughter's words, Billy returned to the gym to work. Billy, the former boxing champion, had gone through a transformation after losing everything, shedding his arrogance and ego. He was now willing to do any job and help others train in his free time. In the following months, he set a new goal for himself, to reunite with his daughter, which required him to build a better life. Tick, the gym owner and a former coach for world champions, recognized Billy's pride and arrogance. Instead of giving him an easy job, Tick decided to first help him lower his ego. He continuously reminded Billy of the tragic incident where his wife died due to his arrogance, emphasizing that her death was a result of his reckless behavior. Although initially angered, Billy returned and apologized for his actions, acknowledging that Tick had spoken the truth. Tick explained that during his coaching, he rarely taught his fighters how to throw a powerful punch. Instead, he focused on teaching them how to defend against their opponent's punches gently. This required a useful defensive posture and a strong, unshakable mindset. Tick wanted Billy to regain his former boxing prowess. Despite his strength as a coach, Tick also had moments of vulnerability. He had been a renowned boxing champion and lost an eye in a match against a dirty opponent. Spending time with Tick, Billy learned to remain calm and control himself. He also developed empathy and learned to understand the experiences of others, which was a trait he lacked as a former champion. When his daughter refused to see him, Billy did not get angry but instead focused on finding her important toys. One day, a man approached him at the gym, asking him to participate in a charity exhibition match for veterans. The transformed Billy, now humble and noble, agreed without needing a reason. Billy's opponent in this charity exhibition match was a fighter with an extended golden glove. Billy performed excellently, evading punches and delivering precise hits to the opponent's face. Since it was an exhibition, Billy only used 30% of his power in his punches. Although his hits weren't as powerful as they could be, after taking numerous blows, the opponent eventually fell. Receiving news that Billy had returned to his former glory, his gym manager suggested that he return to the professional ring for a fight. However, at this point, money and fame no longer held any meaning for Billy. But then the manager mentioned his opponent's name, Maybelle. This was the very person who had killed Billy's wife a few months prior, and he had gone on to defeat every opponent, becoming the reigning champion. Billy immediately agreed to the fight and had 6 weeks to prepare. Knowing that Billy hadn't trained in months, he understood that he would be no match for Maybelle. Billy proposed to have Blackie, the black trainer, help him defeat Maybelle. However, Blackie believed that Billy shouldn't engage in the fight driven by revenge, as it would only make his life worse. Despite Billy's attempts to explain, Blackie left without listening to him. The following day, in court, considering the recent charity exhibition match and seeing Billy's changing life, the judge awarded him custody of his daughter. This was a result of both Billy's efforts and his daughter's willingness to cooperate, signifying a positive turn in their lives. Finally, Billy succeeded, and the father and son immediately arrived at the grave of their mother, offering symbolic flowers to the dawn. They began a new life. Returning to the inn, a person who had never known how to cook, was now ready to prepare familiar meals for his sweet little daughter in place of her mother. That night at the gym, Billy told the coach that his daughter had returned to him, and he needed to fight to protect her. Otherwise, the thug Maybelle would not let him off the hook. Seeing that Billy was stepping into the ring not out of hatred, the coach agreed to assist him. The next day, the official 6-week training began. Besides having excellent physical fitness, the crucial thing was combat skills. The coach wanted Billy to switch his boxing stance to his left hand. This would make it impossible for the right-handed Maybelle to anticipate the direction of his strikes. When combined with the movement of the left foot simultaneously, it was referred to as magic in the world of boxing. It also had another name, the chopper. If Billy could successfully master this technique, he would undoubtedly claim victory. Additionally, the coach taught him how to rotate flexibly to dodge the opponent's attacks. In an eventful night at the gym, Billy confided in the coach about his daughter's return and the need to protect her. Fearing the relentless Maybelle, Billy was determined to fight for his daughter's safety. Observing Billy's resolve and understanding his motivations, the coach agreed to lend his support. The following day marked the commencement of the official 6-week training program. Alongside developing exceptional physical fitness, mastering combat skills was deemed crucial. The coach proposed that Billy transition his boxing stance to his left hand, thereby confounding the right-handed Maybelle's ability to predict the trajectory of his strikes. This synchronized movement of the left foot and the adjusted stance was considered a remarkable feat in the realm of boxing, often referred to as magic or the chopper technique. If Billy could successfully acquire proficiency in this method, victory seemed within his reach. Furthermore, the coach provided guidance on agile rotations to evade the opponent's incoming attacks. Finally, the 6-week training session came to an end, and Billy's strength had reached a new level that seemed invincible. Maybelle was no ordinary opponent either, tirelessly training for the impending match. Both fighters were ready to step into the ring, and this was the most anticipated bout by many. It was a clash between a young champion full of skills and newfound power and a former 4-time champion. Moreover, it wasn't just a fight, it was a quest for revenge. The age difference was the biggest hurdle for Billy, who had only undergone 6 weeks of training after his straight and arduous days. Maybelle had more than enough strength to take him down. All eyes were on him, the reigning youthful champion. Nevertheless, Billy was not afraid. He would use his experience to overcome the odds. At this moment, Billy's daughter and his friends were also watching, cheering for him through the TV screen. The first half started, Bell was very fast and strong, showing the youth in him. Continuous punches were thrown straight at Billy's face, but he did not fight back. The audience is extremely worried and doesn't understand why. Maybe this is diplomacy first, military later. Is Billy checking the opponent's health, or Bell is too strong? At the end of the first half, Billy became a famous person again. Entering the next matches, he applied defensive tactics. What the black coach taught me made my condition better. The swings made it difficult for Bell to punch him in the face. Knowing Billy's weakness is the scar on his eye from the previous match, Bell continuously attacked there, causing him to be suddenly knocked out. However, Billy still stood up to continue the fight. His left eye had become incredibly gruesome, oozing blood, but it was nothing compared to his determination. Billy began to counter with punches from his left hand, combining with evasive maneuvers that made Bell also bloodied. He started returning what Bell had inflicted on him, seeking revenge for his wife against the thug's brutality. Bell pushed Billy into a corner, wildly sweeping in the hope of securing victory. However, Bell found himself in a desperate situation, unsure of how to take down Billy. He kept attacking the bleeding eye, but it seemed to have no effect. He resorted to taunting, "Your wife under the golden stream couldn't resist me, you worthless cur." At the mention of his wife, Billy momentarily lost control, and the two fighters were like monsters about to tear each other apart. The fight might end soon, and Billy could lose the chance for this revenge. Quickly, the coach Gia Den calmed Billy's spirit. "Don't let him manipulate your mind. Your wife and daughter are always waiting for you behind. Let him feel the strength of your left punch." Shaking off the worries, Billy entered the final round, with both sides taking turns delivering deadly blows to the face. However, unfortunately, Billy took a heavy uppercut, causing his daughter and everyone to worry intensely. Yet again, he rose to his feet. Perhaps they should crown him the king of resilience, for it had been a long time without anyone being knocked down, truly a miracle. Images of his wife, daughter, and his great mentor appeared in his mind. Empowered by this surge, Billy unleashed an uppercut with a force of 3,000 newtons. Bell was officially knocked out, and the crowd cheered incessantly for the come-from-behind victory. Even though there were only 10 seconds left, Billy reclaimed the championship for the victors, but the glory was now nothing compared to the life ahead with his daughter. Tears fell, and finally, he let go. "My dear daughter, your dad is ready." Before retiring, Billy dedicated his belt to Coach Tick, then embraced the little girl in happiness. Ladies and gentlemen, our loved ones and our love are always the remedy that saves us. No matter what, they can pull us out of the depths. I have my loved ones, but as for love, it's not there. If any boxer wants me to encourage them for the rest of their life, please comment below.